In 1956 Chicago, Leonard Burling is an English cutter who runs a shop in a neighborhood controlled by Irish mob boss Roy Doyle. Doyle's son and second-in-command, Richie, and his chief enforcer, Francis, use Burling's shop as a stash house for dirty money. Burling tolerates this arrangement as the Doyles and their men are his best customers. Burling also shares a complicated relationship with shop receptionist Mabel, who is also Richie's girlfriend. Mabel has no interest in Burling's trade and ownership of the store, wanting instead to leave Chicago and travel the world. One night, Francis shows up at the shop with Richie, who's been shot in the torso after a confrontation with the rival LaFontaine family, a black criminal organization. Burling is forced at gunpoint to treat Richie's wounds and hide a briefcase containing a copy of an FBI recording with detailed information on the crew's operations, which was provided by the Outfit, a nationwide syndicate founded by Al Capone that protects criminal groups from the law. Francis gets in touch with Roy and departs, leaving Burling and Richie alone. The two men converse and start to bond, and Burling takes advantage of Richie's naivety to convince him that Francis is an informant and plans to hand the tape over to the FBI. When Francis returns, Burling intercepts him, claiming that Richie is lightheaded and delusional from blood loss. Richie threatens Francis, who is forced to kill him in self-defense. He and Burling then hide Richie's body just as Roy arrives with his bodyguard Monk. The two men lie and tell him that Richie left the store on his own. Francis volunteers to go find him. Roy notices his son's coat in the store's back room and threatens Burling, demanding the truth. Francis then returns with Mabel in tow, claiming that he found Richie's blood in her apartment. When Roy orders his men to torture her for information, Burling distracts him by revealing the reason why he came to Chicago. His wife and daughter were both killed in a fire at his former store on Savile Row. When the shop's phone rings, Burling answers it. He tells Roy that Richie is still alive and waiting for him. Roy and Monk depart but leave Francis behind. Burling then explains to Francis why he lied. Mabel is an FBI informant. Burling deduces that she started dating Richie just so she could spy on his family, blaming them for her father's murder, which Mabel confirms. Burling directs Mabel to call Violet LaFontaine, give her the fake location so she can ambush and kill Roy and his men, and offer to sell the recording. Francis is persuaded to go along with the plan when Burling tells him he can gun down Violet when she arrives at his store. With Roy dead, he will then be perfectly positioned to take over the crew. Violet presents Mabel with a large sum of money for the recording. Burling uses hand signals to warn her about Francis before staging an argument to lure him out. Francis is shot twice by Violet's bodyguards, and they leave with the tape. However, Burling then reveals that the recording is a fake. Mabel realizes that he has been deceiving the Doyles from the start by planting messages from the Outfit, setting up a bug so they would incriminate themselves, and coaching her to trick both them and LaFontaine. Burling gives her the real tape and the money and urges her to go and live her dreams. As Burling douses the store with flammable liquid and lights it with a match, Francis gets up and shoots him in the arm before his gun runs out of bullets. He then pulls out a knife. Burling undoes the buttons on his sleeves, revealing that his arms are heavily tattooed. As the fire in the back of the shop burns, he tells Francis that in his youth he was a gang enforcer until he was ordered to commit a heinous crime. Fleeing from his gang, he reinvented himself and started a family, until his old gang found them and burned down his shop. Francis lunges at Burling and a struggle ensues. Burling fatally stabs Francis in the neck with his prized fabric shears. Wearing a dark jacket to hide his wounds, Burling quietly leaves the store as it continues to burn.